Heaven has sent you to another chosen one. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? But it isn't the kind of blessing people think it is. When you meet someone carved by fire, someone marked by the same weight you carry, it's not about comfort. It's about recognition. You see the scars in their eyes, the madness in their silence, the burden stitched into their skin. It's not heaven giving you peace. It's heaven handing you a mirror, showing you what it costs to be different, showing you you're not as alone as you thought, but not as safe either. Because chosen ones don't find each other by accident. They collide when the world needs something broken enough to rebuild it. Meeting another chosen one is recognition, not comfort. People think when two souls like that cross paths, it's supposed to feel like relief, like finally finding someone who understands you, someone who makes the weight lighter. But that's not what really happens. When you see another chosen one, it's not warmth you feel. It's something sharper. It's the shock of staring at someone who carries the same darkness, the same scars, the same relentless weight you thought was yours alone. It doesn't soothe you. It unsettles you. Because recognition isn't soft, it's brutal. You see it in their eyes first. That hollow fire, that tired defiance, that unspoken knowledge that life has never been easy and never will be. It's like staring into a reflection of everything you've been trying to bury inside yourself. Their presence rips open the wounds you thought had scabbed over. Suddenly, you're reminded that this path you walk isn't some romantic story of destiny. It's a road paved in blood, sweat, and sleepless nights, and they know it too. That's why the moment you recognize them, you also recognize the truth. Comfort has no place here. Recognition feels dangerous because it strips away the illusion of uniqueness. You spend so long believing your pain, your struggle, your isolation sets you apart. You tell yourself nobody else could possibly understand, and that lie becomes a shield. But when another chosen one appears, that shield shatters. You realize you're not alone, but that doesn't feel comforting. It feels like exposure. It means someone else has walked through the same fire, endured the same torment, and they survived, which forces you to ask yourself, what excuse do you have not to endure? And it's not just about seeing yourself in them. It's about what they see in you. Chosen ones have eyes that cut through masks. They can spot the fake smiles, the bravado, the walls you build. You can't hide from them because they know all the tricks. They've used them too. Meeting one is like being caught in a spotlight. No matter how hard you try to cover the cracks, they see straight through to the fractures. And that's where the recognition hits hardest. Because for the first time, someone doesn't buy your performance. The world thinks recognition should feel like belonging. But for the chosen, recognition feels like being cornered. It forces honesty. It forces you to admit the pain you carry, the sacrifices you've made, the doubts you choke down when no one's looking. And as much as that strips you raw, it also proves something. You're not delusional. The fight you've been waging in silence is real, and someone else has the same battle scars to prove it. Recognition is brutal because it's real. Comfort is an illusion the crowd feeds each other to keep going. But chosen ones don't deal in illusions. They deal in raw truth. And when two collide, there's no pretending left. There's no polite nodding, no shallow encouragement. There's just the silent acknowledgement that both of you have been through hell and both of you are still standing. That kind of honesty doesn't comfort. It confronts. It's not the soothing embrace people imagine. It's a challenge. It's a silent dare that says, I've carried it too. So will you keep walking, or will you run? Recognition between chosen ones isn't about making life easier. It's about making excuses impossible, because now you've seen proof. Proof that survival is possible. Proof that resilience is real. Proof that the fire didn't burn you alone. And once you've seen that, you can't go back to the lie of isolation. So when heaven sends you another chosen one, don't expect comfort. Expect truth. Expect exposure. Expect the weight of recognition pressing down harder than ever, because that's what it really means. Meeting another chosen one doesn't take away your burden, it doubles it. But it also doubles the proof that you were never carrying it for nothing. Scars become the language between chosen ones. Not the kind of scars people flaunt for sympathy, not the shallow wounds that heal clean and leave a neat little story to tell. These are the scars carved deep, the kind no one else notices, but another chosen one can read instantly. You don't need to explain yourself when you stand in front of them. They already know. They see the way your shoulders carry weight that doesn't belong to the body, the way your eyes hold a silence too heavy for ordinary people to understand. And in that silence, in those scars, you start speaking without a single word. Most people look at scars and turn away. They pretend not to see. They change the subject. They smile awkwardly because scars make them uncomfortable. Scars remind them of pain, of failure, of the things they'd rather hide. But chosen ones don't flinch at scars. They look straight at them, because scars are proof. Proof that you didn't just dream about the fire, you walked through it. Proof that you didn't just talk about sacrifice, you bled for it. And that proof speaks louder than any speech, any promise, any show of strength. Scars tell stories in a way words can't. They speak of nights spent fighting demons no one else even knew existed. They tell of betrayals endured, of battles lost and battles won, of choices that carved pieces out of your soul. A scar says, "This broke me once, but I kept moving." A scar says, "I paid the price and I'm still here." When another chosen one sees that, they don't need the details. They already know the weight behind it, because they've carried it too. The language of scars is raw. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't soften. It doesn't lie. It doesn't need to. When two chosen ones meet, the scars speak for them. One glance and the conversation has already begun. You've suffered, so have you. And that recognition, that exchange, cuts deeper than any words could. It's not about pity. It's about acknowledgement. It's about standing in front of someone who doesn't just hear you, but feels you, because their own scars have carved the same shapes in their soul. This language is dangerous because it bypasses the mask. With everyone else, you can hide. You can cover the wounds with laughter, with confidence, with the performance of strength. But scars are fluent only to those who've been burned. And when another chosen one sees yours, there's no pretending left. They know where the pain lies. They know where the cracks are. They know where the battles nearly broke you. They can read it like scripture written into your skin, and that recognition forces something rare honesty. When scars speak, excuses disappear. You can't lie about the pain anymore. Not when someone else has the same marks etched into their being. You can't downplay it. You can't exaggerate it. Scars don't exaggerate. They only tell the truth. And the truth is, you've been broken, rebuilt, and broken again. The only reason you're still here is because you refuse to let those wounds define your ending. Another chosen one doesn't need the explanation. They can already read the whole story. There's power in this language, but it's not the kind of power the world admires. The world worships smooth skin, clean stories, polished victories. But scars are the true vocabulary of survival. They are the alphabet of resilience. They are the sentences carved by struggle, the paragraphs written in blood, the chapters burned into flesh and bone. And only the chosen can read them fluently. When heaven sends you another chosen one, it's not to comfort you. It's to remind you that you're not insane for carrying what you carry. It's to show you your scars aren't just ugly reminders. They're proof you belong to a rare language most people will never understand. And when two chosen ones meet, they don't need to waste breath on explanations. The scars already speak. They always have. Connection is forged through shared burden, not through laughter, not through hobbies, not through the little distractions people call friendship. No, the real bond between chosen ones is built in the shadows, under the crushing weight of pain that most can't even imagine. Because when you've carried something heavy enough, long enough, you stop needing words to explain it. The weight itself becomes the bridge. The burden itself becomes the thread. And when two chosen ones meet, they recognize it instantly. The same invisible weight pressing down on someone else's shoulders. It's not the kind of connection people think it is. Ordinary people bond over comfort. They bond over entertainment, small talk, fleeting pleasures that dissolve as soon as the moment ends. But chosen ones bond over scars that never close, responsibilities that never rest, nights that never let them sleep. Their connection isn't about escape. It's about endurance. It's about seeing someone else carrying a cross just as heavy, and knowing they understand the silence that the rest of the world avoids. Shared burden creates a different kind of trust. You can spend years with someone who doesn't understand your pain, and you'll always feel alone. But when you meet someone who has walked through fire, the trust is instant. Not because you chose it, but because the fire already did the choosing for you. You don't have to prove yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to beg to be understood. The burden speaks for you. It's the mark of authenticity. It's the proof of survival. And that connection isn't always comforting. Sometimes it's terrifying, because seeing someone else with the same burden means your suffering is real, undeniable, not some hallucination of your mind. It means the path you've been walking is brutal, but it's not unique. Someone else has walked it too, and that strips away the illusion of being special in your suffering. It shows you that the pain you thought was yours alone is universal to those chosen by fate. That recognition can be heavy, but it also gives the bond its strength. Burden binds because it's honest. People lie with their smiles, their words, their stories, but the weight they carry can't be faked. You can see it in their posture, their silence, the way they breathe, the way their eyes refuse to look away when pain is mentioned. That's the real bond. Raw, unpolished, unspoken truth. When two chosen ones connect, it isn't through pretty speeches or shallow encouragements. It's through the unspoken acknowledgement. I know what you carry. I carry it too. This connection also demands something most people can't give: responsibility. Because when you see another chosen one with the same burden, you can't just walk away unchanged. Their presence becomes a reminder, a challenge. It forces you to confront your own strength, your own choices, your own resilience. You can't hide behind excuses anymore, because someone else is proof that the burden can be carried. That's why this connection isn't light. It's heavy. It doesn't lift the weight, it multiplies it. But in that multiplication, it forges something unbreakable, and the bond is silent. No declarations, no promises, no dramatic words. Just a nod, a glance, a moment of recognition, where two people understand each other more deeply than a lifetime of conversations ever could. It's a bond that doesn't need validation, doesn't need witnesses, doesn't need applause, because it isn't about being seen by the world. It's about being seen by someone who actually understands what the world has done to you. Connection forged through burden doesn't fade. Time doesn't weaken it. Distance doesn't erase it. Because the burden never leaves, and the memory of meeting someone else who carries it never dies. It stays etched into your bones, reminding you that as much as the weight isolates you, as much as it crushes and exhausts, you are not the only one enduring it. And in that shared endurance, the connection is born, strong and silent. A fire that doesn't burn out even in the darkest places. Heaven's gift is a mirror, not relief. People like to believe that destiny sends comfort, some soft hand to wipe away the tears, some angel to ease the suffering. But that's not how it works. When you're sent another chosen one, it isn't so they can carry your pain for you. It's so you can see yourself more clearly than ever before. They become a reflection, a living reminder of everything you've been through, everything you're running from, everything you're trying to hide. And the reflection doesn't soothe. It exposes. A mirror doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter. It doesn't soften the edges. It shows you exactly what's there, even the parts you don't want to admit. Meeting another chosen one is like being forced to stand in front of that mirror, stripped of excuses, stripped of disguises. You can't look away because they won't let you. Their scars show you your scars. Their silence echoes your silence. Their weight makes your own feel heavier, not lighter. And in that weight, you find the truth you've been avoiding. Most people don't want mirrors. They want masks. They want illusions that tell them they're fine, that they're strong enough, that they've done enough. But heaven doesn't hand chosen ones illusions. It hands them reflections. Brutal, raw. Unforgiving reflections that reveal the cracks and demand you face them. And when you see yourself in someone else's struggle, it's impossible to keep pretending. Their existence calls out your excuses. Their survival challenges your weakness. Their fire exposes your smoke. It's not relief because relief lets you rest. Relief lets you stop. Relief lets you believe the fight is over. But the mirror doesn't let you rest. It wakes you up. It shakes you. It drags you back into the fight you thought you could escape. Seeing another chosen one doesn't make the pain smaller. It magnifies it. Because now you can't hide in your own little world of suffering. Now you've seen proof that someone else carries the same fire, the same wounds, and they're still walking. That means you have no excuse to stop. And the mirror isn't always kind. Sometimes it shows you strength you've forgotten, but sometimes it shows you weakness you've been ignoring. Sometimes it inspires, but more often it confronts. It forces you to see the truth about yourself, the parts you've been too afraid to admit. And the truth always cuts deeper than lies. That's why heaven sends mirrors instead of relief. Because growth doesn't come from comfort. Growth comes from confrontation. Relief would make you soft. A mirror makes you sharp. Relief would let you settle. A mirror forces you higher. Relief would let you stay blind. A mirror makes you see. And once you've seen, you can't unsee. Once you've recognized yourself in the reflection of another chosen one, your life can't go back to what it was. You can't pretend you didn't notice the scars. You can't pretend you didn't feel the weight. You can't pretend you didn't see yourself staring back at you. And that's the real gift. Not comfort, not ease, not rest. The gift is exposure. The gift is truth. The gift is being forced to see the fire still burning in you when you thought it had gone out. Heaven doesn't send someone to carry your pain. It sends someone to remind you that your pain still has meaning. And that reminder doesn't feel like relief. It feels like being stripped bare in front of yourself. But it's the only way the chosen ones grow. By facing what they are, not by hiding from it. So when heaven hands you another chosen one, don't expect it to heal you. Expect it to show you what you've been denying. Expect it to drag your reflection out into the open where you can't escape it. Expect it to force you to face yourself, whether you're ready or not. Because the mirror doesn't care about your comfort. It only cares about the truth. Chosen ones collide when the world demands change. It never happens in peaceful times, never in the seasons where everyone is satisfied and nothing feels broken. No. Their paths cross when the ground shakes, when the air thickens, when something bigger than themselves pulls them into the same storm. It's not coincidence. It's not chance. It's necessity. Because when the world is bleeding, it calls for those who know how to bleed without dying. When everything starts to fall apart, that's when chosen ones appear, drawn together like flint and steel, because chaos needs fire to cut through the darkness. And these collisions are never gentle. They don't meet with smiles and easy conversations. They meet like storms colliding, like lightning striking the same tree. It's violent, it's unsettling, it rattles the bones. Because each one carries their own scars, their own rage, their own demons, and when they come face to face, the air becomes heavy with recognition. It feels less like a friendship and more like destiny forcing two storms into the same sky. The energy is undeniable, the impact unavoidable. The world doesn't call them when it's comfortable. It calls them when it's desperate. When lies have gone too deep, when the weak can't carry the weight, when the noise has drowned out the truth, that's when chosen ones are sent colliding into each other. They're not brought together to sit quietly. They're brought together to break things, to burn away the rot, to tear down the illusions that everyone else clings to. They become weapons sharpened by suffering, and when they collide, the sparks aren't meant to entertain. They're meant to ignite. Most people will never understand why two broken souls find each other at the worst possible moment. They'll call it fate or coincidence, or maybe even madness. But the truth is simpler. The world doesn't care about their comfort, their timing, their convenience. The world only cares about survival. And when survival demands a shift, when the balance is too far gone, it forces chosen ones together, not to comfort each other, but to amplify the fire. And make no mistake, these collisions come with pain. Because chosen ones don't glide into each other's lives, they crash. They see the truth in each other's eyes. And it's heavy, it's raw, it's impossible to ignore. Their presence reminds you of everything you've fought through, everything you've sacrificed, everything you've buried. It feels like being exposed, being stripped bare by someone who carries the same invisible weight. But that collision is exactly what the world needs, because without it, the silence would remain unbroken. When chosen ones collide, they challenge each other. They don't allow weakness to hide. They don't allow excuses to breathe. Each one becomes a mirror, a fire, a weapon aimed not at each other, but at the world that demanded their meeting. Their bond isn't about comfort, it's about revolution. They're not here to maintain the order. They're here to destroy it, to tear down what no longer works, to carve out space for something new. And that kind of work can't be done alone. That's why their paths cross. Because one storm can be ignored, but two storms colliding. That changes the sky. The world has a cruel way of pulling them together at exactly the point when it's hardest. When they're tired, when they've bled too much, when they're close to breaking. That's when the collision happens. Not to save them, but to remind them they're not fighting alone, even if fighting alone has become their way of life. Their presence in each other's lives doesn't remove the pain. It sharpens it, but it also sharpens the purpose. Chosen ones don't collide by accident. They're pushed into each other by a force that knows the world can't stay the same. And when it's time, when the world has rotted too far, when illusions have spread too wide, when silence has suffocated the truth, that's when they meet. Because together, they don't just survive the storm, they become it.